Here is what's coming up in today's frontline compilation. The Kraken unit moves into position, silent and precise. Troops handle controllers as drones lift off, scanning the battlefield for high-value targets. Soon tanks, trucks and buses are struck one by one. Will the strikes overwhelm the enemy, or is more chaos waiting just beyond sight? FPV drones streak across the sky, closing in on Ukrainian vehicles with incredible speed. Explosions erupt, smoke rises, and supply lines are shredded. Will anyone survive the barrage, or is it too late for those in their path? Two Ukrainian operators track a Russian Murom-M surveillance system. One pilots, the other monitors every movement as the drone approaches. The strike lands perfectly, obliterating the system, and the pilots erupt in celebration. But what else might be watching nearby? A HIMARS vehicle locks onto an ammunition point as two Russian Grad units roll in to resupply. Rockets fly with deadly precision and the depot erupts in fire and debris. Did any of the units escape, or is the devastation complete? This is real footage, no effects, just raw moments from the battlefield. Subscribe to stay updated on every frontline report and stick around to see it all unfold. Let's get into it. Russian armoured vehicles push forward near Krasnohorivka, tanks and infantry carriers rolling tight across open ground. Overhead, a Ukrainian drone shadows them, relaying coordinates. Artillery strikes land seconds later, shells punch through armour, turrets blow off and soldiers scatter, turning an organised advance into a burning wreck of metal and men. Inside a Russian raid, a soldier's helmet camera shows the chaos at ground level. Fighters move between cover, an RPG fires off a plume of smoke, and bursts of automatic fire crack through the tree line. Dirt erupts where rounds land, the camera jerks with each explosion and the sound of frantic orders in Russian cuts through the background. Farther back, a Ukrainian mortar position is caught in the open. A Russian drone hovers quietly before releasing a bomb straight onto the tube. The weapon splits under the impact, smoke and shrapnel scattering the crew as they dive for cover. In seconds, their indirect fire support is gone. Ukrainian soldiers of the 63rd Mechanized Brigade unleash mortar fire on Russian positions near Torske in Donetsk. Their rounds are guided with precision by an overhead drone, confirming every hit. The footage captures the steady rhythm of indirect fire raining down on enemy troops, leaving little chance for survival or counteraction in the target zone. Drone-dropped munitions rain down on Russian forces in Kharkiv, with Ukraine's 14th Mechanized Brigade showcasing a series of precise strikes. Among the footage, one bomb stands out, a pink and blue Hello Kitty grenade. Though its colors may seem playful, its deadly effect is not, as Russian troops scramble but find no escape from the blasts. The Ukrainian Kraken Special Operations Unit unleashes a brutal display of firepower with its T-80 BV. From above, drone footage shows the tank diving into a tree line and pivoting sharply, hurling shells that rip through the woods. Each blast splinters trees and tears the ground apart, sending fragments flying as the tank carves a swath of destruction. From the turret's view, the impacts thunder through the forest, shaking everything in frame. The T-80 doesn't just pass once, it circles back, hammering the shattered tree line again until nothing remains untouched. From the drone's point of view, we see it swooping toward a Russian dugout braced with defenses. Soldiers are visible inside, unaware of their fate until the drone darts forward. A brief moment of panic shows one man raising a stick to swat it down, but the pilot regains control and slams inside the position, detonating with lethal effect. Brutal drone footage from Avdiivka shows Russian armor torn apart. Tanks and vehicles erupt in fireballs, the assault collapsing before it begins. Russia entered this war boasting modernized forces, but drones and precision strikes have turned columns like this into rolling coffins. For Europe and the US, the lesson is urgent. Heavy armor alone can't survive the new battlefield. Drone warfare is rewriting modern war, and adaptation is no longer optional. Precision GMLRS rockets, lightly fired by HIMARS, slam into Russian artillery in Donetsk. 3 separate artillery pieces are destroyed in a series of strikes, the footage capturing explosions that leave behind smoking wrecks. By targeting artillery directly, Ukrainian forces ensure their infantry advances with far fewer barrages to contend with. Two Ukrainian drone operators from the State Border Guard Service take on a Russian Murom-M surveillance system, a critical frontline asset used to spot troop movements and call in fire. The operator on the left, wearing headgear, pilots the kamikaze drone while his partner acts as spotter. Their first strike clips the target in a glancing blow, nearly sending the drone spiraling out of control. But with skill and composure, the pilot recovers, lines up again, and slams directly into the system. The Murom-M is destroyed, blinding Russian eyes along the sector. Near Kherson, a Russian All-10 drone team is caught completely unaware by a Ukrainian reconnaissance drone. The operators and their system are in the open, oblivious to being watched. Seconds later, the Ukrainian strike lands directly on target, eliminating the crew and wrecking their equipment in a swift, precise attack that ends their mission. On a rural road near Kherson, a transport truck loaded with Russian soldiers tries to speed away. A Ukrainian FPV drone closes in fast, streaking low over the field. It slams into the truck's side and erupts in flames, leaving a black column of smoke as voices cheer faintly over the radio feed. Across another sector, a Russian T-72 mine roller creeps forward over a field laced with explosives. The rollers churn up the soil until a mine goes off beneath it, then another. Fire races up the tank's hull as 2 crew members leap out and run, one trailing smoke from a scorched uniform. The tank burns out in the open, its mine-clearing gear twisted and useless. The Kraken unit unleashes near unstoppable precision in this montage of at least 17 kamikaze drone strikes in under a minute. Russian tanks, infantry fighting vehicles, and support vehicles are obliterated one by one, each explosion echoing across the battlefield. Analysts estimate that over a dozen armored vehicles fall in this single run, each worth millions of dollars, while the drones themselves cost just a fraction of that. The clip underscores the brutal efficiency of Ukraine's drone operators. Cheap, nimble, and deadly, rewriting the rules of modern armored warfare. A small Russian patrol of 3 soldiers becomes the target of a Ukrainian FPV drone. 2 soldiers make the mistake of clustering together, creating a perfect target. The drone slams into them, leaving 1 soldier down instantly. The lone survivor rushes forward in a desperate attempt to drag his comrades to safety, the chaos captured from above. This montage from Avdiivka shows Ukrainian kamikaze drones hammering Russian armored vehicles. In one clip, a drone streaks directly into the open rear hatch of an IFV before detonating inside. The footage captures vehicle after vehicle being struck, each hit further, proving the deadly accuracy and persistence of Ukraine's drone operators. A Ukrainian T-80BV tank pushes through trees to engage Russian positions across a field. Flashes erupt in the distance as the tank lines up its target, the gunner releasing powerful rounds into the tree line. From a drone's perspective, Russian defenses crumble as the blasts smash into their cover, leaving destruction scattered across their position. Russian sources released drone footage showing several Ukrainian vehicles being struck in the open. Some of the FPV attacks appear rushed, yet the footage still captures multiple impacts and damage inflicted. The Ukrainian vehicles attempt evasive maneuvers, but the persistence of Russian drones makes retreat difficult as one by one they are hit. Reconnaissance and FPV drone footage from Russian sources captures strikes against Ukrainian positions. First, a vehicle used for movement across the battle space is targeted and destroyed. The footage then shows a Ukrainian bivouac site inside an abandoned building being hit, explosions tearing into both the structure and the soldiers inside. A recently released compilation shows FPV drone strikes carried out by the Pseudoplatov drone unit against Ukrainian troops and defensive positions. The exact part of the front line where this was filmed is not specified, but the footage captures multiple strikes against vehicles, ruined buildings, and other targets. A compilation of airburst HIMARS strikes shows the destruction of 3 Russian multiple launch rocket systems along with a radar unit. The targets are identified as a BM-21 Grad, a BM-27 Hurricane, a TOS-1 Buratino heavy flamethrower, and a Zoopark 1 counter-battery radar. Losses of this kind reduce Russia's ability to provide fire support for ground forces operating in the area. Reconnaissance drone footage released by Russian sources shows a Ukrainian position being struck underneath a railway bridge near Avdiivka. Smoke and dust fill the area after impact, and the Ukrainian soldiers soon exit the position, likely dispersing to avoid being targeted by a follow-on strike. A Leopard 2 main battle tank is seen moving across the battlefield while firing before it is struck directly by a Russian FPV drone. The vehicle slides forward briefly before catching fire and coming to a halt. Russian sources later claimed that the tank was completely destroyed, the crew killed, and that the entire line collapsed. Drone footage released by Eskadrone shows an FPV drone targeting a Russian soldier using a quad bike to move between positions. The strike lands just ahead of the vehicle, allowing it to keep moving, but shrapnel injuries appear to cause the rider to lose control. Moments later, the quad bike flips, ending the escape attempt. That's today's raw footage. No filters, no fluff. This is M6 Archive, always first on the front lines. Subscribe and share if you want more.